What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to go ahead and show you guys the teams that I am using for this current treasure map versus Kanjuro. Unfortunately, a lot on the second day I really wasn't playing. I was kind of busy a lot of the day, so unfortunately couldn't really provide many runs throughout the day. But the first day we did a little bit of farming, trying to get a little bit more in. I was really trying to aim for top 10%, but I think it's going to be a bit difficult not having some of those really high key boosters. One thing to note though is that you may see these teams are slightly different from the teams that I showed in my personal team video. At least the team versus Kanjuro and the team versus Ulti in page 1, and that is the fact that we actually have Cat Viper. I did do one additional multi on part 3 of the treasure map Sugo Fest. Luckily did pull Cat Viper. Unfortunately still no Dogstorm, no Izo and Okiku, so we are still relying on the friend captain of Izo and Okiku to really carry us through some of the really difficult fights versus Kanjuro and Ulti in page 1. If you have access to that, definitely use them as a friend captain. It's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier if you have those on your friends list. Also was, I guess you could say lucky, even though I did a lot of multis for him. Having Odin is also very useful for this fight, as we can use his special ability to block the damage from Kanjuro, though we are also lucky in the fact that when we use the special ability of Odin, that we don't actually heal above 50%, because if we did, we would activate the Dogstorm Captain, which actually would negate any damage reducing effect that we have. So it is a blessing in disguise that we have our team built in such a way where the Odin heal does not put us above 50%, because if that was the case, we may have had to restructure this team composition. So now moving on to X-Drake. X-Drake is really like the easiest of these boss fights. Like, it's super simple, and this team is unchanged. I believe all of the teams are unchanged aside from the one versus Kanjuro and Ulti page 1, as I did in my own treasure map teams video. So this team is pretty simple in the fact that we're using the special ability of Caesar Clown to wave clear stage 1 and stage 2 to get us to that final stage as quick as we possibly can, which is definitely the focus of my teams. I definitely want to focus on clearing these mini bosses as quick as we possibly can, and then dumping all of those high point boosters on the intrusion and the final boss fight. In my personal opinion, it gives me a more enjoyable experience because I'm clearing the runs much faster. Personally, I find it to be more enjoyable. But either way, on the final boss fight, we're just launching the Big Mom special, which does like nearly 2 million damage, and she does have double special activation, so the second activation will be close to 1 million damage. We also have Kaido, who does lots of AoE damage too, and then Luffy's there for a very minor health cut. Not really too sure if I want to keep him in though, but it does the job at least. The next boss after that we're going to be covering is going to be Sasaki here. Sasaki is semi-tricky. He does have really annoying mechanics, but there are really good free-to-play units that you can use to kind of get around this. We are kind of cheesing it though by using the Kizuna Legend Kaido crew. It's kind of weird how you have a character such as, Bon Clay, for example, who is such a crazy good legend that released for Treasure Map, but he's actually really goated for Kizuna. And then you have a Kizuna Legend in Kaido crew who's absolutely broken for Treasure Maps, as you'll see in this instance here, just by using his switch effect for wave clears, and then his special ability to provide huge AoE damage, and because you have the 6 powerhouse characters, you get all of that additional AoE damage. This team is going to work forever, not changing it whatsoever. It could definitely put more point boosters on there, that's for sure, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Moving on now to some of the other bosses here. The next one we have is Who's Who. Now, Who's Who, again, is okay. He's not too tricky. He does have a couple of annoying gimmicks, though. The fact that he does provide, like, 5 turns of bind. I think it might be actually, yeah, it's 8 turns of bind to the captains, and then 5 turns of special bind. He gives us, like, really annoying slots, like empty block slots as well. Like, it's just super annoying fight, but we're getting around it by using NL as our captain. He's kind of like our speed captain, and I didn't like using double legend NL because you have to, like, wait for stupid animations to occur because you have 2 captains. So I'm opting for just NL captain, friend captain Kuzan, because a lot of people are using Kuzan at the moment considering he's a relatively high point booster, and I'm not using him for some of the difficult boss fights later on, so I'm using him as a friend captain here. Works very well, and we're using a couple of really key support characters. We have Doflamingo on NL to provide a chain boost, we have Ace on Luffy, and we also have Corazon on Law, just to make sure we're removing that bind without actually having to activate another additional special. Luffy gets rid of the special Combine. We use the special ability of Bon Clay to give us a full board of matching slots. We don't really need to change his type or classes, which is nice. We do have the Vivi support to give color affinity to Free Spirit. Not really needed though. We do plenty of damage here. Shouldn't need to change this one for the rest of the map. Moving on to the final of the Battle Rush bosses is Black Maria. This fight is very annoying, and even if you have like the full boosted team, it's just super annoying because a lot of the recommended units for this fight are strength units when on the final boss it's a quick unit. And one thing that was not stated on the breakdown of this treasure map is the fact that there's actually mob characters with Black Maria. So actually having some kind of wave clear mechanic is very useful here. However, not really that big of an issue here. We're using Roger Newgate because of the fact that we actually get given a very minor attack and orb boost for 3 turns. When we use the special ability of Roger Newgate, you're going to be buffing that to a 3 times boost. So that is absolutely awesome. And then also the fact that we have the Rhodium BB to give it a little bit of wave clear to kind of speed up the team a little bit here. And also the Roger Newgate special do remove the despair that is inflicted to us, which is great. And we don't really need to use both Roger Newgate specials here at all. We can save one for a little bit of orb changing just to make sure we can get some matching slots if we do need it, but definitely not needed at the moment. This is a pretty awesome team, and definitely not going to be changing this one throughout the entire duration of this treasure map. Alright, moving on now to the final boss, which is going to be against Ulti in page 1. Once again, Izo and Okiku, friend captain, very, very important for these teams to be as effective as they are. Of course, we're using Odin as the captain this time. We don't need to resort to using Dogstorm. We don't really have to worry about defensive effects that much this time around. Because I was lucky enough to pull Cat Viper, I was originally using Dogstorm as the captain because in the final stage you have to deal with 5 turns of damage threshold, and there are not a lot of characters that can remove that. However, we are just using the special ability of the brand new Cat Viper that we pulled to remove it. However, prior to that, I was opting to use Dogstorm as the captain once again, just to enable us to remove the ability to, you know, just to worry about that defensive effect. We just don't need to worry about it if he's the captain. Don't need to worry about Rainbow Shield. It just makes things a lot easier. As for the rest of the characters here, pretty typical stuff. Raizo and also Ashura Doji for relatively high point boosters, and that's the only real reason why they're here. Having Perisper on the team because he's also like a 1.4 point booster alongside Odin, so a very good decision to do that. Gives us a lot more points. Izo and Okiku hard carrying throughout this, of course, as well. And Odin isn't really a required unit for the fight here versus the Ulti page 1. Definitely a very good character though on the Kanjuro fight, of course. But anyways, that is going to wrap up the video, and just showing you guys my teams for this upcoming treasure map, or the current treasure map versus Kanjuro. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.